Leaving the church isn't some happy ending to a fairy tale that you didn't want to be in anymore. Most of us who have left Christianity weren't sitting there like, fuck this. At least for me, it was more of, something doesn't feel right here. That doesn't feel very just. I don't know, maybe that is okay. The topics of remarrying after divorce, smoking weed, being queer, thinking maybe the Bible had some mistranslations, maybe shouldn't be taken literally. Now, 10 years later, I'm sitting here like, yeah, but during was so destabilizing. Your body just kind of goes into shock. And usually it's not one singular moment that you're like, all right, I'm done, bye, you know? I mean, sometimes it is. But other times it's a million little moments that feel like really big moments. There is the moment where you're like, hey, I'm, not gonna go to church anymore. I'm not gonna go to life group. I feel uncomfortable hanging out with certain friends. Little by little, you're shifting into this different identity and shedding the old one. You're shedding language that you used. Like, how's your walk with the Lord going? You're not really using that anymore. Someone asks you to get coffee and they say they want to pray for you. Like, it can start getting a little triggering. The community that you once felt was such a safe place now feels uncomfortable and dysregulating, not as deep as you're wanting to go. Your identity's shifting. You're kind of going into shock. Your purpose for life is shifted because now your drive isn't to convert everyone to the Lord. The language that you use to describe a ton of things is now, I don't know, not usable anymore because you don't resonate with it. I'm in a period where God feels silent. Honestly, I don't spend that much time around groups of Christians anymore, so I feel like my vocabulary remembrance of it is like dwindling, which I'm not mad about. You start to grieve. You're grieving the community. You're grieving the language. You're grieving the certainty that you had about what's going to happen when you die. You're grieving the version of God that a lot of you were raised on. I was raised on it. While I was in the womb, I was probably hearing and feeling God, talk. So for a lot of us, it's like ingrained in our cells, especially if it's generational religion. And trauma lives in the body. So that fear conditioning of hell, of if you don't believe the Bible this way and take it word for word, like that means you don't believe it, that it's the word of God, blah, blah, blah. Like, the traumas that can stem from those, like those ingrain themselves in your body. Like, it doesn't just go away overnight. Like 10 years later, I still have moments where I'm just like, what the fuck was I taught? Or like, not that I feel the guilt anymore, but for the first few years while I was deconstructing, I would say for the first 3 to 4 years, there was that shame around sex. There was guilt of even sometimes wearing a bikini because I'm tempting men to sin. And for a long time I had a fantasy of what if I left the life that I built after Christianity and went back. What if that's the path I was supposed to go on, and I will be successful if I go back. I will have a hero's welcome because I went off the deep end and then I returned, the prodigal daughter. But even harmful systems can feel stabilizing. And just because the people you surrounded yourself with weren't trying to be harmful or actively doing things that were harmful, that doesn't mean that you can't still feel a little trauma from it. That doesn't mean that it was a healthy belief system for you to be in. I think a lot of responses we can get from our loved ones that are still in Christianity very deep, or still in that legalistic version of it, they can be like, sorry that we were so traumatizing for you, kind of flipping the script. Yeah, it's just not your responsibility to control how other people view you. When I kind of started to realize that lifted a huge weight off my shoulders, because being a missionary kid everyone's watching you. You know, you gotta raise support from churches, so you gotta be good. You know, you can't like alcohol too much. I mean, didn't Jesus turn water into wine? Like, what? Oh my God. Jesus loved wine. He loved wine so much he turned water into wine. Just kidding. I'm not even like in a place where I care to debate or defend the Bible, or like, not defend, but like if anyone throws verses at me, I'm just like, I don't care. Like, I don't believe in the Bible anymore as my, like, it's a book that has a lot of misconceptions and misinterpretations, and I'm not basing my whole life and identity off of it. And if you are, go you. Just don't shove it down my throat. Easy. I love watching Outlander, but I'm not gonna like tell you you're gonna go to hell if you don't like Outlander too. Leaving the church, it does feel more freeing, but it also feels scary because coming from, you know, having a lot of it figured out to not having anything figured out is really nerve-wracking. I still don't know what I believe about what happens in the afterlife, if there even is an afterlife. Like, just because you're feeling worse after leaving doesn't mean that you took the wrong path. It is totally normal. Most of us who have left the church have felt that way, or even sometimes still feel that way in certain instances. I mean, life is a rocky path. Just because you're, I don't know. Life is not one big happy fairy tale. It's tons of ebbs and flows. And I think coming from religion, it can be easy to be like, well, if I was still a Christian, maybe I would be farther along by now, or maybe I would have gotten this cooler job than the one I'm in, or whatever. Like, yeah, I could be leading worship at some big mega church right now and be making bank, but would I feel aligned and happy and I'm in the right place and whatever? No, probably not. It truly feels worse before it feels better. So don't be discouraged by that. Not that I'm trying to sway or anything. I'm just like sharing my journey so that you feel less alone in yours. And everyone's timelines are different too. Like me, I started deconstructing 10 years ago, and I can honestly say that now I can be confident in being like, I'm not a Christian anymore. No, I don't believe that. Please don't try to witness to me right now. Whereas like a few years ago, I would, you know, feel really bad and guilty and, you know, like I'm offending people if I'm not a Christian, or that I haven't found a home church wherever I'm living. It does get better, and I am at a place in my life where I am so happy. I am being authentically myself. I'm living the life I've always dreamed of living. I do not regret the path that I have treaded on. Do I wish it was smoother? Yes. But I don't know, everything that's happened up until this point is meaningful. And I don't know if I believe that everything happens for a reason, but I'm open to the fact that, you know, good can come out of anything that happens to someone. Just because your old roadmap is gone, what's that, like the free world game? When you're like gaming and you can like go off path, whatever that is, you're going off path. And that's badass. I'm off path, you're off path. So let's keep exploring together. Like and subscribe if you want more of my ramblings. Okay, bye!